until 8:15. At 7:50, so just about 3 minutes ago, a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Rhinebeck, or 6 miles east of Grundy Center, and it's moving off to the southeast at 30 miles per hour. There's a possible rotation with this, which could lead to a tornado, and also the possibility of gusty winds and, of course, small hail. So if you are in this area, you need to be seeking shelter now. This will be affecting Rhinebeck and Morrison here in the next couple minutes. So another tornado warning for northern central Tama County, east central Grundy County until 8:15. We're going to zoom into this storm for you. It is going to be this area down here. It is going to be pushing towards the Traer area as well. We've had reports from spotters saying there has been rotation with this storm that they have been watching, and it's kind of been putting funnels about the halfway down to the ground or so and pushing back up. That was about 2 miles east of Grundy Center. Funnel cloud was spotted. So it is with that storm that you see right in this area that is capable of producing a tornado. It has produced funnel clouds. Spotters have spotted those, and we've had several reports of funnel clouds here in the last hour, and we are posting photos of those on our Facebook page if you want to take a look at those. But this is why we're on the air. We've had reports of funnel clouds and actually having them reach the ground. And that's why we do have that tornado warning now for parts of Black Hawk and also parts of Grundy and Tama counties. Now, next report was spotter 2 miles west-northwest of Morrison, which is in Grundy County. Sees a new funnel cloud developing to his east. So spotter is 2 miles west-northwest of Morrison, and you can see Morrison there on the map, and there you can see that rotation north of Morrison. So he is located northwest of Morrison and seeing that funnel cloud actually redeveloping here. So it's going to be with this back tip of this storm, and there's the latest radar update, pushing it now more north of that Rhinebeck area. You can see Morrison there is kind of to the east, but north of Rhinebeck is where I would put that possible tornado, kind of where you see this kind of jetting out on the radar there of the colors would indicate where that rotation is. As far as rotation on our radar, not seeing anything real strong. I guess if you would want to say some greens next to those reds would be right in there, well, like we said, just north of the Rhinebeck area. I am going to bring this out so we can get an actual storm track on this as we continue to watch the storm sliding to the southeast. Now, Cedar and Traer, you're going to be in this. This will eventually pushing to kind of between Traer and Benton here, but we're going to put a storm track on this entire storm, pushing to the southeast at about 30 miles per hour. So that's where we're going to take it. It will be in Cedar at about 8:23. It looks like it might go just north of the Traer area. Not saying Traer, you're in the clear here, but I would say that you need to seek shelter. And speaking of seeking shelter, just another brief review of those tornado warning tips. You need to get to the lowest floor of your house. If there's no basement, you need to get to an interior room. Do not stay in a mobile home. They cannot withstand tornado force winds that will likely tip over or fall apart, so you do not want to be in those. Get to the shelter at the park you're in or to a nearby building or business. If you're outside, go to a safe shelter, whether you're barbecuing or at a ball game or anything like that. Maybe the park has a shelter house or a bathroom that is made out of cement. That would be a good place to go. Last resort is to lie in the ditch or low-lying area, but you will need to protect yourself from flying debris. Also, avoid windows. Put as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. If possible, get under something sturdy like a stairs or a table or anything that can help protect you from stuff falling from above. And cover yourself with a blanket or a mattress or pillows. It's the flying the debris in the tornado that is actually causing the most injuries, but that is why we need to protect ourselves. Now, we do have another report in. 2 miles west-northwest of Morrison in Grundy County here, reports a funnel cloud. It is new funnel cloud developing just 2 miles west-northwest of Morrison. So I'm going to zoom in here, put our little track on this once Morrison pops up, and we can kind of get an idea of exactly where that is at. So there's Morrison. We're going to continue to see that storm off to the east-northeast there. It is continuing now, I'd say, north of the Rhinebeck area. This is going to be one of those major roads, North Pioneer Road. It'd be crossing that V Avenue there, and then east and west is 215th Street, and then the one that goes through Rhinebeck there is 260th Street. So in those areas, you're going to be seeing that possibility rotation on the very end tip of this storm. Out in front of this, you're going to have some heavy rainfall, also the possibility of some hail, maybe some gusty winds, but what we are on the air for right now is a tornado, and we've had two spotter reports now, a National Weather Service person and a trained spotter report funnel clouds with this that are going down halfway to the ground and haven't touched the ground yet, but as soon as it does, that is a tornado and could be causing damage. So that is why we're on the air. It is safety for you viewers at home of why we are on the air, break into the programming. I know it doesn't make many of you very happy, and we apologize right now, but we are trying to keep viewers safe that are in the path of this possible tornado. So it is going to be Morrison, you are in the clear. Rhinebeck, it is north of you, directly north. Hudson is going to be the south and west of you and is sliding southeastward. So Hudson, you're not going to see this. Eventually, it's going to be pushing north of Traer and then over towards Dysart. So that is what we are going to be doing as of right now.
And Jen, let me just jump in real quickly. This is Chief Meteorologist Corey Christiansen just getting in here with all this activity that we have going on. I just wanted to bring up our Facebook pages here. Let's see, let's go ahead and change our banner there on what's happening. We do have a tornado warning again that's in effect for this area. Wanted to just be able to show you a few of the pictures that we've been getting in of the funnel clouds. Jen's been posting these on Facebook so far. This one, again, picture of a funnel cloud 3 miles south of Applington. This was taken by Charles Lampson. So you can see that we do certainly have some funnels that have been in the area. You can head to our Facebook page, KGAN CBS 2 or KFXA Fox 28, to follow along with us as well. And then there's this picture by Donovan Gruner. This was taken near Allison, Iowa. Did briefly touch down when this photo was taken. So we do have some reports again of funnels that are in the area. We'll continue to watch those very closely. Let's go ahead and take it back over to radar and show folks what we're dealing with right now. Again, we have that one tornado warning that is in effect until 8:15. This does include Blackhawk, Grundy, and Tama counties. I'm going to walk over to the green screen here for just a second so I can try to point out a few of these areas. What we've been seeing so far are either brief funnels that may have had a quick touchdown and then they're starting to come back up in these areas. We have not had any reports of damage out of these areas, but it's still important to note that any tornado that touches down does have the potential to do some damage, even if it's only briefly on the ground. So you want to be making sure that you're taking shelter if you're in any of these areas that are going to be in that tornado warning again until 8:15. This is for portions of Blackhawk County, also for Grundy County. And we also have a little bit of Tama County that's included in here. And it's really these same areas that continue to get the lion's share of the warnings, it seems like lately. We've had Rhinebeck, we've had Traer, we've had Dysart, a lot lately that we've been mentioning just because of the threats going through these areas. But as Jen highlighted, it looks like it's kind of on the backside of this one cell that we've got some rotation that's showing up. There are some funnels that are reported in that area. This would be just out to the east, kind of northeast of Rhinebeck, and looks like the worst of it, if there is any rotation in there, has already moved past Rhinebeck. So that's some good news there for any folks that are right within the community of Rhinebeck itself. But as it continues to move out to the east, that's where we're watching for that potential, still for some rotation, still for a potential for a tornado to be on the ground that could be causing some damage as it moves through some more rural areas here of Grundy County, and then again eventually heading out toward Blackhawk County and also down to the south in Tama County. All this activity firing up along a cold front. If you're in any of these areas, certainly you're watching the clouds build throughout this afternoon. We had some really humid air outside this afternoon. Dew points have been in the low to mid 70s. Last time I checked, it was 73 degrees for the dew point in Cedar Rapids, with temperatures in the 80s. Heat index was up to 90. So the atmosphere is primed for some big thunderstorms for tonight, and that's why we're seeing some severe weather. Jen
Corey,
now highlighting that latest area there. Go ahead, Jen.
Yep, I am going to cut in. The spotters that have been on this confirm a tornado is on the ground now. As of 8 o'clock, a tornado was spotted just to the north and west of Rhinebeck, which I have circled there. You need to be seeking shelter. This is now a confirmed tornado on the ground from spotters. As of just 3 minutes ago, Rhinebeck, you are under the gun. It is just north and west of you and is sliding southeast at 30 miles per hour. So if you are in Rhinebeck, you need to be seeking shelter. You need to get down below ground, put something sturdy over your head. But we do have a confirmed tornado now on the ground.
Well, we were looking earlier that it looked like that rotation may have already passed, but now it certainly looks like that is not the case. So like Jen just mentioned, that threat still exists for the community of Rhinebeck. If you're listening to us or watching to us right now, you need to be in that shelter. You need to be in that safe spot. Do not wait for any visual confirmation on this storm. Please do not go out to try to take any pictures of it. Just get to your safe spot, and then if you do have any pictures that you want to forward on to us later, when it is safe to do so, you go right ahead and be able to post those on our Facebook page or email them into us. But at least for right now, if you are in those threat areas, you need to be heading down to the basement as soon as you possibly can, or the lowest floor of your home, and get to an interior room, someplace that's away from windows. You want to be either in a closet or a bathroom. Those are great places to be to try to shield yourself from debris. Again, get away from the windows. Try to put as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. So it's this one area of rotation, again, just the northwest of Rhinebeck that we're watching. That is of our greatest concern right now, that could be still moving into the community of Rhinebeck. Once it does move out of these areas that we're highlighting right now, there's still other areas that are in the tornado warning, portions of Blackhawk County, portions of Tama County, that are also going to be under the gun here for the threat for a tornado. Possibly Traer, Dicer, those communities, heads up. You also need to be taking shelter as there is a potential tornado that could be moving through these areas. But Rhinebeck, that's where we are highlighting right now for that potential threat. Like Jen has mentioned earlier, it is our station policy that we are on the air whenever we have a tornado warning that is in our viewing area. We take severe weather very seriously. We know that it's interrupting your programming that you want to watch on CBS 2 and Fox 28. We certainly appreciate your viewership for those regular weather threatens. We have to make this our first priority, and that is why we are bringing you this severe weather alert. Looking around the rest of the region here, you'll see some bigger portions of rain here down across portions of southern Blackhawk County. That just went through Waterloo. Likely got a really hefty shower there, likely in the Waterloo community, but that has now passed down to your south of Highway 20. And that line of thunderstorms extends all the way up to the northeast, all the way up around Alameda County. So we're seeing a lot of areas getting storms, but not necessarily everybody getting rotation with the storms. It's really just, again, around the Rhinebeck area that we're watching for that potential for a tornado. This is the portion of Grundy County that's under the warning. This is the portion of Tama County, so it's northern Tama County. And there's also just a little bit of southwestern Blackhawk County that's also included in that tornado warning until 8:15. So until 8:15, we're going to stay with you on this threat. We certainly do hope that at that point, maybe this rotation will weaken just a bit, and the National Weather Service will be able to take away that tornado warning, and we can return you to regular programming. But if not, we'll continue to stick with you all the way through the rest of this threat. And again, even scrolling some information across the bottom of your screen as well, hopefully giving you some more information as to the location of the storm. We get more updates from the National Weather Service continuously, and you can find even more detailed information down there. Jen, any more reports coming out of the area? Have you heard anything about any damage done from any of the storms from what these areas that we're watching?
Yeah, have not heard of any damage, but we still have that confirmed tornado on the ground located near Rhinebeck as of 3 minutes ago, or 13 miles east of Grundy Center. It's moving southeast at 25 miles per hour. They've kind of expanded this tornado warning a little bit because of that threat, which will be popping on the screen here shortly. But we've also had reports, law enforcement said that they had a tornado on the ground with debris southwest of Hudson, heading east at about 3 miles south of Hudson there. So a law enforcement reports a tornado on the ground with debris southwest of Hudson that has now lifted, but they're going to continue to monitor that as well. We are getting some pictures in here. I'm going to take a look at this, and if it's we're showing, we will show that. But we do have picture shows tornado on the ground in Rhinebeck, so I will try to get that up for us on our Scan-Do so we can show that to you. But as of right now, we are still continuing to get these reports in Rhinebeck of a tornado on the ground. We still have for Blackhawk, just a second, sorry about that. Several spotters. A tornado near Rhinebeck has been reported 1 mile north of Dysart. In Tama County, it reports a tornado at 8:04. That is north of Dysart. 2 miles northwest of Rhinebeck, a tornado touched down with debris ball and farmstead was hit. That was 2 miles northwest of Rhinebeck. So now we have confirmation of damage with this confirmed tornado on the ground near Rhinebeck. Still 1 mile north of Dysart in Tama County. Report of a tornado on the ground north of Dysart, which if we zoom in the radar here, we will show you Dysart is in this area. That is with the same storm. There is Rhinebeck. We are continuing to see that. As we continue to push south, you can see Traer there. There is Dysart, so 1 mile north of Dysart. They're saying they have tornado on the ground there as well. So anywhere in this storm, they're seeing quick spins up of rotation. All that is continuing across the area. We still have a tornado warning in effect for Blackhawk, Grundy, and Tama County until 8:15 across the area. And that is why we are still in air. And I'm going to try to get this tornado picture up here. I'm going to toss it to Corey so we can actually show you this confirmed tornado here, Corey.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I just took a look at that picture off camera here, and I can tell you that it certainly does look like a stronger tornado that has started to do some damage in the area. We're not dealing with just a funnel cloud anymore. This is certainly a tornado that is capable of doing some damage. It's way too early, of course, to ever estimate actual wind speeds or the strength of a tornado, but just looking at that picture, which again we'll be trying to get to you very soon, it does look like a damaging situation. Again, right through the Rhinebeck area, and then you see a new red line that popped up here that extends that tornado warning down through the Dysart area. It's all of this complex that you're watching where we've got a couple different areas of rotation, possibly one near Rhinebeck, another one down near Dysart, that are also both producing either tornadoes or at least producing some damage. Again, Jen just reporting that we did have a farmstead that was hit, and reports of debris near Hudson. That was that the location, Hudson, that we had?
It was northwest of Rhinebeck that a farmstead was hit, but we've also had several reports from sheriffs southwest of Hudson, a report of a tornado on the ground. Also a report 1 mile north of Dysart of a tornado on the ground. So a lot of quick spin-ups with this one. Okay, yeah, so we're watching two separate areas again that we're seeing that potential for damage, actual damage that's already being produced by these storms that are going through. This doesn't really have a classic supercell type look to it. You're not going to see a hook echo anywhere on here, possibly a little bit of an inflow notch right here above Dysart, but not necessarily the classic type of supercell that you would sometimes see, that hook echo on the southwest side. So you're not necessarily looking for that here. Just kind of trust the fact that there is some rotation in there that has been reported up around Rhinebeck and again around Dysart. And here's the picture that Jen was just talking about. Jen, was this a viewer picture that was sent in to us? Where did we get this one? This was a viewer picture taken off Twitter here. It is of the Rhinebeck tornado that we're talking about right now. It was taken by Chad Heinzel. So in the Rhinebeck area, that is the tornado we are talking about on the ground that possibly caused damage at a farmstead.
And just a classic funnel type shape there that we're looking at, and still getting some storm spotter reports again as this tornado moves through the area. Very unfortunate to hear, of course, that it has done some damage. We certainly hope that it stays in more rural areas and does not move into any of the more populated areas of these tornado warnings. But again, the communities that are going to be the most impacted by this, Reinbeck, Traer, Dysart, any of those communities, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. Jen, I'd love to get a storm track on that if we could.
Yep.
Just to give folks an idea of when they can expect to see this in their area. Again, tracking this as closely as we can into these communities and giving you an idea of when you can expect that. 8:13 is the current time. We're putting where that rotation is and then timing it out. For Dysart, you're looking at 8:35 is when that storm would be on top of you, so possibly 20 minutes away. That does give you some time to be able to try to seek shelter, but certainly you need to be doing that immediately. Do not wait. Get down to that basement, get to the lowest room of your house if you do not have a basement, and also get away from windows. Try to find an interior room like a closet or a bathroom to be able to shield yourself. And then when you do that, as you're doing that as well, grab some blankets, grab a mattress to be able to shield yourself from the debris, and also grab something for your head. Football helmet, bicycle helmet, baseball helmet, anything like that works great to be able to try to shield your head from the debris. And don't forget a nice sturdy pair of shoes as well. If you do come out and you have had some damage to your home, you need to be able to also protect your feet and be able to make your way around after the damage has occurred. So a lot of things to try to keep track of there. But utmost importance is get to your shelter right now if you're in any of these areas. Looks like that rotation might be moving out of the Rhinebeck area. The latest scan that we just have right now, again, it's the green next to the red. That's where we're watching for that rotation. Looks like it may have just moved a little bit to the east of Rhinebeck, but it looks like we could have had that go right through that community. We'll continue to see if we get any more reports of damage. We did have damage on the northwest side of Rhinebeck to a farmstead from a tornado that we have now showed you a picture of as well. It's confirmed there is a tornado that is tracking through these areas, and it is doing some damage as well. Jen's putting some streets on here. Y Avenue, South Grundy and 260th Street. If you're in any of these communities out to the east of Rhinebeck, this is out towards southeastern Grundy County. This is where we have the highest threat right now. But don't forget about the areas out ahead of it as well. There could also be some rotation out near the Dysart area, which is just right up to the north of you here, that we're also watching for the potential for some tornado damage. We're putting the velocity scope in there, trying to find any signatures of rotation. And when we see just all red, that's all indicating winds that are moving away from the radar. We're looking for red next to green. That would be indicating rotation within the storm. Green indicating winds moving toward the radar. Again, red away from the radar. Not seeing any strong rotation right now around Dysart. But again, you're still in that tornado warning. It was till 8:15. Now, what's the latest expiration time on this, Jen?
Sorry, let me get that for you.
No,
it is
that's fine.
until 8:45 for
8:45 for this one.
Blackhawk, Grundy, and Tama County.
Okay. 8:45 is the latest expiration time for this tornado warning for these counties. So far, it is just this one cell that is really producing the severe weather, that's producing the rotation. We have a lot of different cells kind of lined up from this area all the way up to the northeast. Jen's continuing to monitor those as well, but so far this is the only one, again, that is producing tornadoes and that is also producing damage. And that's why we're zooming in on it and making sure that these folks know that this is where the threat is, this is where we need to be watching, and this is where people need to be taking shelter. Jen, if you want to pop that picture up again,
Sure.
that was obviously the most ominous thing we've seen so far. You look at the radar sometimes and you're like, okay, exactly what is that telling us? But when we get visual confirmation of a tornado that's in contact with the ground there and doing some damage, then we really start to, your ears perk up. You're like, okay, this is a serious situation. This is something that we need to be making sure that we are taking shelter and that we are taking seriously. Jen, do you want to quickly run over those tornado safety graphics as well, just for folks who are in this area?
Yep. We do need, especially if you're Traer, Rhinebeck, it's off to your west now, but Dysart, that area, the rural areas here, U.S. Highway 63, north of County Highway D65, that kind of corner there. You need to get to the lowest floor of your house. If no basement, get to an interior room. If you're a mobile home, you need to get out of that. They cannot withstand tornado strength winds. You also need to not try to outrun this. We are getting now reports of power lines down in Grundy County, so there is some reports of damage coming in now with this. So it is a tornado on the ground producing damage, so that's why you need to get in your safe spot. If you're outside at a friend's house, out in the field maybe, and you're hearing us on the radio, you need to get into a building, a substantial building, not a machine shed or anything, or the last resort is to lie down in the ditch. Now there is lots of rain in front of this, possibly some hail, so you may not see the tornado until it's on top of you, so don't try to outrun it. Now when you're in your house or your safe spot, you need to get away from windows, put as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. Try to get under something sturdy or cover yourself with blankets, a mattress, pillows, sleeping bag, anything like that that will help protect you from the flying debris, because the flying debris is what causes injuries in the tornado. And try to stay calm. We are mobile streaming with us, so if you have a smartphone or anything like that, you can get the information we're giving you on that in your safe spot, or we say turn up the TV as loud as you can and listen from your safe spot, and we will give you the all clear when it comes into your area. But as of right now, we need to seek shelter. We do have confirmed tornadoes on the ground. It was in Rhinebeck, now pushing off to the east. We do now just have another report in. This is going to be a confirmed tornado is located near Traer, or 18 miles south of Waterloo, moving southeast at 25 miles per hour. So once again, just near the Traer area there, and you can see Traer on the bottom of your radar there. So we are probably waiting for the latest update, which would put the tornado just north of Traer, Highway 63 if you're traveling along that. But Dysart, you're next in line for this. This is now time to seek shelter. You've got minutes now to get inside, get something safe, call your neighbors, tell them what's going on there. But still, confirmed tornadoes. Hudson officer 2 to 3 miles south and 2 miles west. Funnel cloud is near the ground. That's going to be south and west of Hudson. So many reports keep coming in of rotation all around, not just in one spot with this storm. And you can see that storm there pushing into Dysart. There's Hudson at the top there, not in the warning as of right now, but I'm assuming they are probably looking off at the area back in here. But we are continuing to see the possibility of tornado, especially around the Traer area right now. Have had reports before in Dysart and Hudson. Rhinebeck confirmed tornado on the ground with pictures. If you are tracking this, Benton, Shellsburg, Newhall, you're going to be in the line for this if this does hold together. But right now, at least with our rotation showing up on radar, just to the north of the Traer area, you need to be seeking shelter now.
So yeah, just Tama County that's in effect really for the tornado warning where we have the threat. There is portions of Grundy and Blackhawk County that you see that they're still in that tornado warning. Those are up to the north, though. It's the cell that we're watching down to the south that has passed into Tama County that we're watching for that threat. So yes, there's a little bit of these counties that are still under the tornado warning. Looks like the threat has passed by you. We are watching now for Benton County for that threat to possibly be moving into your county. So heads up for anybody in Benton County. Like Jen just mentioned, you also need to be getting ready to take shelter in the event that there is going to be a tornado that could be moving even out of the Dysart area and continuing to move down to the southeast. And then eventually, if this does continue to keep tracking in that direction, that'll eventually put some portions of Lynn County in play as well. So we'll keep you up to date if we do get any more warnings. But for right now, Tama County until 8:45, that is where the biggest threat is so far. And just like Jen mentioned, it's right along Highway 63 where it looks like we could have some potential damage from a tornado that has been confirmed. We've had pictures of it. We've had reports of damage going through some areas right around Rhinebeck and now moving down to the southeast of Traer. Not moving particularly fast. This is only moving at about 25 miles an hour, mainly in a southeasterly direction. So it is giving communities out ahead of it a little bit of time to hopefully get prepared to get down into that storm shelter, but still very dangerous situation that we're dealing with. Again, a possible tornado just to the north of Traer, possibly crossing Highway 63 right now and moving through these areas. One thing that Jen mentioned that I just want to highlight or reiterate a little bit more. Remember to try to get into as safe and as sturdy of a structure as you possibly can, just because of the fact that you remember all the storms we've had recently. Of course, we did have that one fatality in Fairfax of a man that was killed inside a machines shed. Get inside the sturdiest building that you possibly can. Jen, new picture here. Wow, this is definitely still holding together there.
Yep.
Tell us a bit about this latest picture.
This picture was taken by Dan Goschalk. He is a train spotter. Goes out many times, but it says the tornado hitting Rhinebeck, which if I can see, it would be two kind of, if you look on the horizon there's two kind of clumps sticking up on the side of the road. In my picture, it looks like it would be the grain elevator on the right side of the road there that's kind of sticking up in the shadows. So that would be the town of Rhinebeck, and that would be that tornado on the ground that has caused some damage there, and that is a train spotter sending us that photo. So thank you, Dan.
Yeah, you can see that tornado just dropping right out of that wall cloud and unfortunately going right through that community. We hope to not get too many more reports of substantial damage, but just to recap, we did have a farmstead that was damaged just to the northwest of Rhinebeck. And then, Jen, have there been any other reports in the town of Rhinebeck itself, in the community, that you've heard?
I have not heard of any damage. I've had reports of power lines down across Grundy County, which would be back to the north and west where this all kind of started. 3 miles east of Lincoln in Tama County, there's reports of a tornado on the ground as of 8:16, which is this area we're watching. And fire department states funnel cloud near Boorhies. I'm sorry, I haven't heard of this one, but Boorhies, east of Rhinebeck and south of Hudson. That came in just 2 minutes ago. So several reports of either funnel clouds or tornadoes on the ground in this area as of right now.
Okay. Again, let's get a storm track on that one more time, just for the Dysart area, trying to track that out. The last time that we had given you an estimate on when that could be in the area was about 8:35 that we expected it to be in the Dysart area. Again, Jen's going to put a storm track on that, just continuing to time out that storm as it moves to the southeast, about 25 to 30 miles an hour, and we're still looking at the same time frame. You've got about 10 minutes for the Dysart area before that tornado could be in your community. Again, if that rotation holds, if it continues to stay as strong as it is right now, there could be a tornado that would be possibly doing damage going through your community, Traer and Dysart, within the next 5 to 10 minutes, probably the next 2 to 3 minutes for the Traer area. It looked like that rotation was just up to the north of you, right along Highway 63, whereas for the Dysart, you're closer to about 10 minutes away from that potential threat. The tornado warning, at least as we see right now, still just including Tama County until 8:45, Blackhawk County, and also portions of Grundy County. But it's Tama County where that cell has moved into, and that's where the main threat remains. We're still waiting to hear from the National Weather Service whether we get this tornado warning extended out into portions of Benton County. But Jen, if you could take the radar and move it over to the left just a little bit, let's give a heads up again for a few communities out here ahead of Dysart that could be in the potential path of a tornado. If we can zoom in here on western Benton County. Of course, you've got Vinton, you've got Garrison, down toward the Van Horn area. Any of these communities, be on alert, as there is a potential that we could also see a tornado warning issued for you once we get past that 8:45 time frame as this storm system continues to move down to the south and east. Even if we lose the rotation, you're likely still going to see possibly some hail, certainly some heavy rain, some damaging winds from the outflow of this storm system. So everybody in western Benton County, get ready for a possibly severe thunderstorm to go through. This is still quite a ways up to the northwest of Cedar Rapids, has not reached anywhere close to Lynn County just yet, but of course we're watching it closely. As we take the radar up a little bit up to the north, just for a split second, we'll keep trying to track that tornado warning, but we want to show you what else is happening here. Highway 20, heavy rain from the Independence area all the way out through Manchester. Likely going to see some very low visibilities along Highway 20 with that heavy rain. The storms up to the north and east not looking quite as potent. We still certainly have some storms as we head up into portions of Clayton County and then you cross over into Crawford and Grant counties, but none of these storms are currently producing any severe weather. You're likely just getting some gusty winds and also some heavy rain. But again, a lot of heavy rain right there across portions of Buchanan County. But here's the severe threat. Tama County. That's where people need to be taking shelter. And Benton County, you need to be on alert for the potential that we could see a tornado going through your community as well. So Benton, Garrison, Van Horn, all those areas potentially in line, but at least right now, Traer and Dysart, as we zoom back in here, those are the areas that we need to be watching. I'm going to step back out for a second, let Jen try to put that velocity scope back on here. Let's see if we can try to pinpoint where that rotation is. We were watching right along Highway 63. Looks like that's still where it is. You see the green next to the red. Again, green indicating rotation that's toward the radar, red rotation that's away from the radar. You get them right next to each other. That's what we call a couplet. And it's a radar indication, a radar signature of a tornado. That's that rotation that we're seeing right there, right along Highway 63. So it'd be crossing 63 as we're speaking, County Highway D65, and then Highway D65 up there as well. We've mentioned these areas, it seems like, several times in the last couple of weeks. They keep getting hit with round after round of severe weather. And it seems like even in this specific intersection, I know that we have had tornado warnings where we have zoomed in and shown you this exact same spot a couple of times back in June. So kind of eerie that we keep getting the same spots going over and over. But hopefully folks are realizing that Mother Nature really not being all that kind to eastern Iowa, of course, this season. And please heed the warnings. Get to your basement, get to your shelter. Do not wait, because if you do, this may be on top of you before you have a chance to be able to take shelter. Jen, any other updates on what we're seeing here?
We still have our storm spotter reporting a tornado. They are 4 miles north-northwest of Traer. Tornado still in progress. Some damage to some area farms is what they're reporting. So kind of that area we're showing you, that is north of Traer there. Still seeing a tornado on the ground doing damage to area farms, and that's why we're on the air right now. I know many people want to be watching their big brother, stuff like that, but have reports of tornado on the ground with some damage to area farms.
And we've had pictures as well. Can you throw that picture up, or a couple of the ones that we've seen so far? Let's show folks what we've been dealing with. Just go ahead and recap the pictures if you could.
This is the one taken by Dan Galchok, and we may try to get him on the phone here shortly, but he is a trained spotter, and this is a photo he took of the storm and tornado going into Rhinebeck just a while ago. You can see the tornado is all the way to the ground. Rhinebeck is straight on this road that going there. The image on the left or the right of the screen kind of popping up on the horizon there, the dark shadow, would be the green elevators in town. So that is a tornado. It looks like it would be on the north side of that town as of right now, and we've had reports of damage to some outbuildings on a farmstead because of this tornado on the northwest side of the area. Now I'm getting several reports. Tornado near progress in Traer. Several actual pictures of this coming in. I'm going to try to get them on the screen for you as soon as possible, but still seeing tornado pictures on the ground right now in this area that we are telling you about near Traer. So tornado on the ground near Traer, possibly doing damage to farmsteads in that area. So I'm going to toss it to Corey, and then I'm going to try to get this photo back on air for you.
I just wanted to ask you, that latest report that you just saw, was that law enforcement or was that storm spotter?
Storm spotter, Donovan Grunner, which we had photos from him just a little bit ago as well.
Okay, and again, he was reporting damage to farms just to the north of Traer, not in Traer itself, right?
Not in Traer itself.
Okay, but that's exactly where we're seeing the rotation again that is on the radar. Again, we keep showing you the green next to red. That's the indication of the rotation that we're seeing there with Doppler radar. That's exactly where we would anticipate the tornado to be. Likely having crossed Highway 63 at this point and now starting to head down out across portions of now eastern Tama County and eventually heading out toward Benton County if this does hold its rotation and hold its strength. Again, heads up to Benton County. You could be dealing with a potential tornado situation as well. But Tama County, that is where we are focused on right now. It looks like Traer, if you're within the community itself, right within the city borders, likely not getting impacted as much as we're getting, again, those storm spotter reports of damage to some farms, outbuildings that are just up to the north of Traer. Has already crossed Highway 63 and continues to head to the southeast at about 25 miles an hour. This puts Dysart in the line of fire here with this tornado. So anybody who's in these areas heading down to the southeast, you need to be taking shelter immediately if you have not already done so. The latest storm track that we put on this put it into the Dysart area about 8:35, 8:36. These radar scans come in every couple of minutes, and you'll see where we're watching this kind of, it looks like it's stationary, of course, but that's just because the radar doesn't get updated quite in real time. We get about every 5 minutes or so, we'll get a new scan, and then you'll see it jump from one location to another. So it is moving in a southeasterly direction, and it is moving past the community of Traer and now moving down toward the Dysart area. New pictures in from Jen. I'll let you go ahead and take us through what you've been seeing and what you are also showing to us at home.
Yep, I have a couple of pictures here, so you'll have to see me switch here, but this is northwest of Traer by Caleb Hammer. You can see the tornado there, and there's actually looks like some debris and some dust spinning up towards the bottom there. So we do have confirmation just northwest of Traer of that tornado on the ground. This one is taken by Donovan Grunner. This is also Traer, and you can see that plain as day tornado there pushing around the Traer area. Looks like rural areas right now, but you do see some debris and dust getting picked up there towards the bottom of the tornado, so that would indicate that it is possibly doing some damage there.
That picture itself really tells the story of what is happening here. This could potentially be a violent tornado that's moving through these areas. Again, we've got reports of debris, we've got reports of damage being done to farms. As of yet, has not done any direct or had any direct hits on the communities that we've been talking about, at least that we've heard of. Possibly in Rhinebeck. We have to wait and see if we get any reports of a direct hit there in Rhinebeck, but we certainly know that there was at least some damage around those areas. And then it has been very close to the community of Traer, just up to the north side of it. But again, mainly staying out into rural areas and certainly impacting some farms, but it could also be impacting Dysart next. So that is the next community in line. You need to be in your shelter, you need to be in your basement, you need to be in the lowest floor of your home if you do not have a basement, and being away from windows. Try to shield yourself from debris, do the best that you possibly can to shelter yourself. More pictures coming in.
Yep,
Jen, tell us about it.
This is another one still, Caleb Hammer, when it was over the Rhinebeck Elementary School, or this is the Rhinebeck Elementary School in the foreground here, the tornado back behind, but that was the tornado as it went through Rhinebeck, which started this whole thing. I'm going to go back to radar here just quick to update you on where the storm's at. They have let the tornado warning expire for Black Hawk County and also Tama County. It is now Black Hawk and Grundy County are out of it. Now it is just Tama County, northeastern Tama County until 8:45. Another 10 minutes on this. A confirmed tornado was located near Traer, or 16 miles northeast of Toledo, and it's moving southeast at 15 miles per hour. So this was reported on the ground 1 mile northeast of Traer. Damage has been reported with this tornado. Traer, Dysart, Cleteer, Elberon, and TF Clark State Park are all in line to be affected by this storm.
Let's get another storm track on that if we could. Let's just take it right through the Dysart area, try to get another time frame on when we can expect that. Where we would likely see the tornado is a bit closer to Traer right now, again, just off to kind of the east of Traer, and that would put it into the Dysart area at 8:43 is what we are expecting now. So for anybody around Dysart, whether you are in the town limits itself or any of these surrounding farming communities, a big time alert here that we have a tornado that is doing damage, moving through portions of Tama County, and is heading your direction. So far for Benton County, we do not have a tornado warning in effect for Garrison or Benton. But it looks like this storm, if it does kind of hold its track, may be impacting the Garrison area, likely not so much Benton, unless all of a sudden it decides to change course and head a little bit more east. But essentially it's really kind of keeping a southeasterly direction It hasn't really changed that too much. The last update that we got, though, said that it was only moving at about 15 miles an hour. So very slow mover here, not moving all that quickly, but that just means that it has more time to kind of churn up whatever areas that it's moving through, a little bit more time to do some damage in those areas before it exits out. Also, however, gives folks out ahead of the storm a little bit of extra time to be able to hopefully get ready. That's why you saw that storm track time change from 8:35 now closer to about 8:43 for the Dysart area. But nonetheless, you need to be taking shelter right now. Do not wait. Please get to a safe spot as fast as you possibly can. Jen?
Corey, it hasn't updated on our radar map yet, but we do have another tornado warning, as you have mentioned, for Benton County. It's now been extended out there. So western Benton County until 9:15. At 8:34, confirmed tornado was located just northeast of Traer and was moving southeast at 30 miles per hour and producing damage. This tornado will be near Garrison at 9 o'clock. Keystone at 9:05, Van Horn at 9:10. Also could be affecting the Benton County Fairgrounds and the Hoefel-Dullen area park. Report tornado on the ground 1 mile northeast of Traer, and this is all moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. So it'll eventually be pushing out of Grundy or Tama County into Benton County here shortly. So Dysart, Garrison, Clear, you are going to be in this area here now for this tornado warning.
Certainly something we didn't want to hear, that this is continuing, but obviously with the pictures that we've been seeing coming in, not totally unexpected. You see those pictures that we've been showing you, and this could be certainly a strong tornado that is, again, already producing damage, already had reports of damage to farms, and in the Rhinebeck area, we showed you that picture just of the tornado going right behind an elementary school. It was a little bit difficult with the perspective of the shot to see exactly how close it was there, but certainly it was not too far away, and it has maintained its rotation, maintained its strength as it continues to move to the southeast. Latest reports moving to the southeast now at 30 miles an hour, so that may have picked up steam just a little bit. Can we put another storm track on there then with that updated information?
Yep.
With the 30 mile an hour speed of this storm?
Back out just a little bit here so we can get it all the way out for you.
Sure, try to track it through the Dysart and Garrison areas.
So Dysart at 8:45. So you got about 5 minutes Dysart before that tornado, which is confirmed on the ground, producing damage, is pushing into your area. Now, out in front of this, you see Newhall would eventually be in this. It will be going south of Benton, but would be traveling along the 218 area. South of Benton, Shellsburg, it looks like it'd miss you to the south. If this continues, eventually Fairfax, you would be in the southwest side, Cedar Rapids, possibly over towards Swisher. Now that's still a long ways out, but I just want to kind of put it on your radar as if this does hold together. We've had several reports and pictures of tornadoes on the ground doing damage with this storm.
And Jen, can you repeat the communities that the National Weather Service warned for as well with that latest update on the tornado warning for Benton County?
Yep, let me find that here for us. That will be Garrison around 9 o'clock, Keystone at 9:05, Van Horn around 9:10.
Okay, so we're looking at anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes for some of those communities in Benton County. We do apologize that our tornado warning graphic has not updated into the Benton County area just yet. We seem to be having a little bit of a technical issue with our radar being able to get that information on the tornado warning. However, the actual reflectivity that we're showing you here as far as where that storm is, this is up to date. This is exactly where that storm is moving through the area. You just see that red line that still encompasses Tama County. Eventually, we'll get that red line as well popping up over portions of Benton County. So both counties here under a tornado warning. 8:45 is the expiration time for Tama County as we're just about to the county line. We're almost into Benton County now with this storm. Tornado likely just in this area out to the east of Traer and kind of diving to the southeast at 30 miles an hour. That would put it right into Dysart, and then eventually the Garrison area. About 9 o'clock is a potential time that you could be impacted by this. Van Horn was at 9:10. Is that where we were expecting that one, Jen?
Yes, 9:10.
Okay, 9:10 for Van Horn. And there you see it. There's the red outline that is now popping up here. Jen, if you could put the warning label up there for that as well, just to give us that label for Benton County. Again, tornado warning until 9:15. So we will certainly be staying with you at least until that time, or until this threat is over. As this tornado warning continues to track down to the southeast, just like Jen mentioned, heads up to a few other communities here now. Shellsburg, Newhall, and eventually Fairfax on the southwest side of Cedar Rapids. All of you could eventually be in the next warning, again, if this maintains its rotation. It still has not showed any signs of slowing down just yet. This is certainly feeding on a lot of warm, humid air. If you've been outside at all for today, you know just how sticky that air is and how primed the atmosphere is essentially for some big storms. And this is exactly what it's producing. We keep getting more pictures in here. I'm going to let Jen give us the latest on this picture. We just get these, it's a classic funnel type shape that we're seeing here of a tornado that's going through. This one looks to be out in a field. If we have to have a tornado anywhere in eastern Iowa, that's where we want it to be, as opposed to being over any structures. But hopefully this eventually is going to lose some strength, but certainly that's not what we're seeing here on the pictures. Jen?
This is my storm chaser, Dan Goschalk, train spotter there, but he has been tracking this for us through Rhinebeck and now north of Traer. But this is still the tornado on the ground. You can see it's kind of gotten a little wider than the pictures we've seen previously. But what we don't like to see is when you look down at the funnel as it reaches towards the ground, you do see some dirt and debris being kicked up there. So can't rule out that it's doing damage to rural farms that don't like seeing that, but it looks like that we are still seeing rotation, tornadoes, and even some funnel clouds all along this area with this storm, and several pictures of this tornado on the ground. So we do have confirmation that it's on the ground and has done some damage to area farms. So thank you, Dan, for that photo. And we're going to actually, I'm going to try to go in the booth here and try to get Dan on the phone so we can talk to him.
Is he available right now?
He is out chasing, but we do have his cell phone, so I'm going to hand it back out. Okay.
And I'm sorry, where was that latest picture taken? Again, where was the location
that was
on
near Traer.
That was near Traer. Okay, so the storm, again, had just moved through the Traer area. It looks like Traer, with the latest radar scan that we're getting here, the storm has moved to your east, no longer under a threat for a tornado in the Traer area. But, of course, we're getting reports now again, of some farms that were damaged up on the north side of Traer, right along Highway 63. Excuse me, and then this is starting to move down to the southeast. Dysart in the line of fire right now with that tornado that has been confirmed. We've been showing you the pictures. This is certainly potentially a damaging storm, and as it moves through the Dysart area, we could be getting more pictures of some damage. Just like Jen was showing you, it was producing at least a little bit of debris there at the bottom of the funnel, but it was out in a field, so certainly not doing any structural damage on that latest picture. But we do have reports all the way back to Rhinebeck of some structures that have been damaged by this tornado, and it has been able to maintain its strength all the way through, tracking through portions of Tama County and now into Benton County. So 8:45, we just reached that milestone there, time that we had for Tama County. So the tornado warning has now been taken away for Tama County, but now Benton County, you're still under this warning until 9:15. We still have another half hour to go here, at least with this threat. And again, right in the Dysart area, moving to the southeast about 30 miles an hour. Could put it into Garrison about 9 o'clock. Van Horn, which is more down to the south here, at about 9:10. So for both of those communities, you're looking at about 15 to 20 minutes or so to be able to get in your storm shelters before a potential tornado is going to be going through the area. That I say potential just in case it does weaken before it gets there, but certainly we do have a confirmed tornado that has been doing damage in these areas, and if it maintains its strength, those communities are going to get hit somewhere in the vicinity. We're not exactly sure, of course, where that track is going to take. If it stays exactly to the southeast, it may miss Garrison just a little bit down to the south, but my best estimation right now is that it's right over the top of Dysart, like Jen was circling there on radar. Jen, have you been able to talk to Dan? Do we have him on the phone?
Haven't heard anyone in the booth tell me if he's on the phone yet. They're trying to get a hold of him. But last report came in from the National Weather Service. It was located near Traer. Now, at 8:30, 17 minutes ago, the tornado was reported 1 mile northeast of Traer. That has now lifted, but the storm is still causing rotation and funnel clouds, which would be located near Dysart as of right now, or 16 miles northeast of Toledo. It's moving southeast at 10 miles per hour, so it has slowed down. This will be affecting Dysart, Cleteer, and Elberon, so this is moving in your area. But the good news is the tornado that was in Traer has lifted, but we do still have rotation with this and could quickly put down another tornado, and is located right now near Dysart. Also, the Tama County, you are out of this tornado warning. It is just now Benton County, the red outline that you do see here, including Garrison, Van Horn, stretching down towards the Newhall area. Not sure if Benton is kind of on the border here, but if you are hearing tornado sirens going off in Benton, that is why. You are just on the edge of that tornado warning, which is until 9:15.
And Jen, sorry, I was checking on something else when you had read that latest update. I just wanted you to recap that again. The tornado that had been in the Traer area has lifted. That's what that latest report had said?
Yep, the tornado that was in the Traer area has now lifted, but they are still watching rotation and funnel clouds that it would be heading right near the Dysart area as of right now. Okay, so in Dysart, we may not have a tornado that is currently on the ground, but we certainly have the potential still for a dangerous situation here. It looks like we do have Dan, who's on the phone. He's a storm chaser who has been following this closely. Dan Gottschalk, I'd like to bring him in right now and be able to talk with him for a second. Dan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Corey.
Dan, tell us where you are currently and exactly what you're seeing. We're putting a couple of your pictures up here. This certainly looks like it has been a strong tornado in these areas. What have you been watching?
I was on it when it first developed right up near Rhinebeck, shortly before 8 p.m. I've been on it the entire time. It actually just lifted about 8 minutes ago now, between the communities of Dysart and Traer.
And where are you located right now?
I, right now, am about a mile northwest of Dysart.
And seeing any funnels in the area, or seeing any?
Not really anymore. There's still a little bit of rotation within the wall cloud, but it's not looking quite as organized as what it was earlier.
Okay, so maybe losing a little bit of steam, but of course may just be cycling, and might be able to see something else that might pop up here in the near future. Obviously, that tornado warning is still in effect, so we want to make sure that people are still taking shelter in these areas. Tell us about the communities that you have followed this through with. What type of damage have you seen, or have you seen any damage with this storm?
So far, I haven't actually seen it go through any communities. It's all been out pretty much rural areas the entire time it's been on the ground. It's hit a couple of farms. The damage I did see on the farms was just a lot of barns, outbuildings, stuff like that we're getting the roofs torn off and launched up inside the tornado. But otherwise, for the most part, it's been out over open areas, just cornfields and bean fields for the most part.
Well, again, if we have to have a tornado somewhere in the area, we prefer it to be out in fields as opposed to over structures. But certainly even then, that's not a great option for all the folks who have been dealing with so much stormy, severe weather lately. Again, just to catch people up if they're just joining us, we're talking with Dan Gottschalk. He is a local storm chaser who is right near the Dysart area. He's watching a wall cloud that has been associated with a tornado that he's been watching ever since Rhinebeck. It went through the Traer area.
Corey, I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
Just about a half mile west of Dysart right now, it is starting to organize, and there's a funnel starting to drop down again.
Okay. And that's certainly what we were waiting to see what happens. Again, these storms can often go through a cycling process where they might weaken a little bit. That rotation might lift up, which is exactly what we saw with that tornado, and then they can certainly drop something else somewhere else. Again, you said a mile and a half to the east of Dysart. Is that where it was?
To the west.
To the west. I'm sorry. Okay, mile and a half to the west of Dysart. We're just putting that on our map right now. That would put it out right along Highway 8, 190th Street. I don't know if we can do a north-south cross street somewhere in there. We've got X Avenue and V Avenue. So somewhere in those communities, or in somewhere in those areas rather, is where we could have a potential funnel. Tell us what you're seeing there. Has it gotten any stronger, that rotation, or is it still just kind of staying a funnel?
It's pretty broad. It's not really getting it much lower to the ground, but it's definitely trying, which is kind of similar to what it did earlier when it was up near Rhinebeck. It produced several funnels. Then pretty much just all of a sudden it fully condensed all the way to the ground and just got larger from there.
Certainly, by the pictures we've seen, that one did. The last one did intensify pretty quickly.
Yes, it did.
What is your plan from here as far as tracking it down to the southeast? I'm assuming we're obviously losing light outside. Are you planning to stick with this, or?
I'm planning to stay with it for as long as I can. I know I see another cell that's off to the south. It looks like it's starting to intensify a little bit, so I'm keeping my eye on that one too, just to keep the fields open, I guess.
Yeah, the one down near Belle Plaine, we're showing that one right now, and also another one that's out near Grinnell. So a lot of different activity here that we're trying to keep a watch on, but that tornado warning certainly for Benton County is of our utmost concern. Dan, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. If you can, please stay close, or with our producer, we'll give you another call if we do hear of anything. If you're able to give us any more updated reports, if you do see that funnel touching back down again, please feel free to call back in, and we would love to be able to get your updates.
Certainly.
Thank you very much. Again, Dan Gottschalk, local storm chaser who has been on this storm ever since the Rhinebeck area, and is now near Dysart, watching a rotating wall cloud that does have a funnel that's associated with it as well. But currently, at least from his vantage point, no tornado that was in association with the ground. Some of the pictures that we've been getting in, is this one from Dan, Jen?
No, this is from Marion Dinsdale. This is in Traer. It looks like it would be looking like they are in town there, people watching it, which is not good news, but looks like it's outside of town there, but you can see the actual tornado there as it pushed just north of the Traer area. Okay.
And the last time that we saw radar, it looked like they popped up another tornado warning back in Tama County. Is that correct?
That one has been allowed to expire early here. It hasn't gone off our radar just yet because it is till 9:15, but it is 9:15 now just for Benton County. I will say they're watching this one for tornado warnings as well. So as that pops up, that is Fringe County for us, but we'll let you know here if it does pop up. But right now it is just Benton County. As Dan had said, the town of Dysart, he's seeing some rotation near the town of Dysart. So Dysart, if you're in that area or even just outside of town in the rural areas, you need to seek shelter now. This is all sliding to the southeast, so good news, it looks like it might move south of the Garrison area. Clear, it looks like you are in the clear. Farther down the line, Van Horn, going to be close to you. Also Newhall, Benton, if the tornado sirens are going off there, it looks like you're in the clear as everything is off to the south and west of your area.
And it certainly does look, at least from looking at that cell on radar, that it has certainly weakened a little bit from what we've been watching. It doesn't, you don't see the bright reds showing up in here like what we had seen earlier. It does not necessarily mean that the threat for a tornado has completely gone away. Still could get a brief funnel, a brief touchdown that might do some brief damage. But again, this cell has, at least on radar, it looks like it has lost a little bit of its strength. And hopefully that tornado warning that's in effect for Benton County until 9:15 may be allowed to expire at that time. Until then, we're going to stay with you for the potential threat, or at least until the National Weather Service lets us know that they are no longer expecting this storm to produce anything that could produce some damage. But still, heads up for the Garrison area, down through Van Horn, as there is still a possibly rotating storm that's in your area that could potentially still put a funnel cloud that might turn into something. So just be on close guard, be on watch, and still stay in your storm shelter if you're already there. Just always an abundance of caution needed. Just wait those extra 15 to 20 minutes, and then you can come out of your storm shelter just to make sure that we're beyond the threat here. So again, watching another storm starting to develop right around Belle Plaine. That one not severe, But like Jen just talked about, National Weather Service also watching this storm down across Grinnell. So we're getting into Poweshiek County here, out into Jasper County as well, right along I-80. And this storm, this one's looking pretty strong. And often what you'll see on these lines of storms, that it's often the southernmost storm that can really feed on a lot of that moisture-rich air, that humidity, that heat that we have outside, and can strengthen and intensify and sometimes become the dominant storm. Sometimes you'll see a storm that's up to the north, like what we've had going through Tama County. That one will weaken, and then a new one down to the south will start to pick up where the other one left off and be able to start to build up and could produce something. So watching this one closely. Jen, you might have an update on that one?
This one actually does tornado warning on it. Our system hasn't updated yet, so I've drawn the box on there. It is for the Grinnell area. It is not a confirmed tornado on the ground, but they do have a tornado warning for this cell. It is possibly producing a tornado 8 miles north of Newton, moving southeast at 25 miles per hour. So this will be affecting Grinnell, Rock Creek Lake, Kellogg, Oakland Acres, also Rock Creek State Park, and Interstate 80 between mile markers 170 and 185. So no confirmed tornado on the ground with that one as of right now, but there is a tornado warning for it. That is until, let's see, 9:15. So our radar is waiting to update there, but that is just out of our viewing area. If it continues, just know Brooklyn, Montezuma, that would be in your area as well. Possibly Williamsburg if it does push farther southeast, and then William, North English, and Kelowna. So kind of continue to watch this line kind of blow up here. We have that one down towards Grinnell, the one in Benton County, just south of Manchester there, moving into northern Lynn counties. There's some heavy rain, but no warnings on that one. The only warning we have right now is for Benton County until 9:15. This has produced several tornadoes. We have pictures of them from Rhinebeck to Traer to Dysart. As our storm spotter we talked to said, it doesn't have a tornado with it right now, but there are some funnel clouds going up and down with it. It would be on this back edge here, kind of this leading or ending tip of it. There's Garrison. It looks like now would be kind of the south and east of Dysart. Dysert's kind of getting covered up there by the red boxes, but kind of a road here, a major road would be 61st Street and north-south 15th Avenue, so it'd be right around that area. Clear, that's 65th Street, it'd be north of that. So it looks like it's pushing out of Dysart, but it would be in this area here, and it's sliding to the southeast. So Van Horn, I would be on the lookout now, as it could be coming into your location if it continues to hold its strength.
Yes, certainly with that tornado warning in effect, we are not telling anybody that it's all clear. If you have that tornado warning for you, you still need to be in your storm shelter. And again, this goes until 9:15. We don't want to take any chances, even though the fact that we do not have a confirmed tornado on the ground anymore with this storm. There's still the possibility that this storm could still produce a quick bit of rotation that may drop something down to the ground, could do some quick damage anywhere along that area that Jen is highlighting right now. So again, until 9:15 at least, that threat for some possible damage across portions of western Benton County does exist, and that's why we're continuing to stay on the air with you. Let me just step back into the green screen for just a second here. If you're just joining us, we're at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. We're going to be trying to bring you our normal Fox 28 newscast once we get rid of all the severe warnings in the area. This is our top priority. This is what we talk about when we say weather first, that this is our #1 priority, is keeping our viewers safe. We want to make sure that everybody that is within our viewing area knows of the threats that are possibly coming towards you, and that's why we've been doing this coverage all along. You've seen the pictures. We have reports of some damage. Looks like the tornado mainly has been out across portions of rural Grundy County and also rural Tama County. No direct hits, at least reported by our storm chaser that we just talked to, Dan Gottschalk, in the Traer or Rhinebeck areas, but certainly some farms have had some damage. We have damage to outbuildings, but the communities themselves, at least the latest reports, have not been impacted right within Traer, right within Dysart, right within Rhinebeck. We haven't had reports of damage there, but on the outskirts, any of the farms around the areas, especially to the north of Traer, northwest of Rhinebeck, those areas have reported some damage, and we'll continue to get those pictures in. This cell that we're watching has a history of producing those tornadoes. This is still producing potentially some dangerous weather, even if it doesn't have a tornado. We've got a lot of rain that's still coming out of it. And of course, I'm sure a lot of lightning that's associated with this storm. But the Garrison area, looks like anything that is here is going to slide down to your south. But like Jen mentioned, Van Horn, we're still watching for the potential, again, for some rotation that could be moving through that area. So be in your storm shelter at least for the next 10 to 15 minutes here until we get this tornado warning taken off of the map. And then we'll let you know that it is all clear. Storm track right now, Van Horn 921 and Newhall at 931 for this storm that we've been watching, again, tracking out of the Grundy and Tama County areas. As we back out, however, do we have that tornado warning up now for the Grinnell area? Looks like it has popped up. Let me have Jen give you the latest information that's on this one. This one's a little bit more of our fringe viewing area, but for any folks who are watching us out from Grinnell, any other areas of Poweshiek County, we certainly want to let you know as well what's happening. Jen?
Yep, this one would be a storm capable of producing a tornado. Last report, it was located 8 miles north of Newton, moving to the southeast at 25 miles per hour. This is radar indicated rotation. Haven't had reports of actual tornadoes on the ground yet, but as we've seen all night, that could quickly change. This would be affecting Grinnell, Kellogg, Oakland, Acres, and then the Rock Creek State Park with that one. Also, just got an update here. Let me click on that one and give you the most updated information on that warning. A confirmed tornado now, as of 9:02 with this warning, a confirmed tornado located 4 miles northwest of Rock Creek Lake, or 8 miles northeast of Newton, moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. So this is a public confirmation of tornado on the ground 5 miles north of Newton, moving to the southeast. This will be affecting Grinnell, the Rock Creek Lake area, Kellogg, the Grinnell Airport, and Interstate 80 between mile markers 170 and 185. So now a confirmed one of a last picture reported of a rope-like tornado northeast of Newton.
And as we get further into the night here, obviously we're losing daylight, so pictures may be a little bit tougher to come by, but there you see the rotation within that storm that Jen's going to zoom in on. Again, it's that tornado signature that we've been talking about all evening here. It's the green next to the red, the green indicating rotation that is toward the radar, red indicating rotation that is away from the radar. You get these right next to each other. That is called a couplet, and that is our indication that we do have a tornado that is in the area. And now a confirmed tornado that Jen just mentioned up to the northeast of Newton. And I'm sorry, what was the speed on this again, Jen?
It is pushing off, let me see here, to the southeast at 30 miles per hour.
Okay, southeast at 30 miles an hour. So again, that could take it out toward the Grinnell area. This is out in Jasper County at the moment. Which is where we're watching. I'll have Jen put some of the labels up here until 9:15, but also Poweshiek County. Jasper County, very fringe for us as far as any viewers out here, but if you are watching us from here, certainly know that you do have that tornado warning. We're more concerned here about Poweshiek County. That is getting a little bit closer into our viewing area. For any folks in Grinnell, you need to be taking shelter as well right now, as there is a potential for some tornado damage to come through your area. Kellogg, you're at 9:07, 2 minutes away, although that is this dot that's down here to the south. Looks like the rotation would be up to your north, so any rural areas just to the north of Kellogg, you've only got minutes before this is just about to go through. And then I'm sorry, I missed the time on Grinnell. What was the time on Grinnell?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Let me put that back on there.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and put the storm track back on.
9:18.
Grinnell, 9:18. That gives you about 12 minutes from right now at the current speed with this storm system as it's moving to the southeast before a tornado could be moving through your area as well. Again, this is a confirmed tornado now that is on the ground right there in Jasper County, moving to the southeast 30 miles an hour, and Grinnell is directly in the path, or at least the potential path, of a tornado that could be doing damage. So anybody who is out here across western Poweshiek County that's within that warning, you need to be taking shelter as soon as you possibly can. Getting back to the other tornado warning in Benton County, this cell continues to lose steam, certainly is what we're seeing here on radar. The tornado warning still in effect. National Weather Service will often just leave that warning in effect all the way until its expiration time, which is 9:15, just to make sure that we don't get any extra redevelopment out of that storm. But at least looking at it on radar, it doesn't look quite as strong, quite as ominous as what we've seen earlier. But again, some heavy rain, also some lightning, certainly potential coming out of this right in the Garrison area. Here's the lightning that we're seeing in the last 10 minutes. There you go, out to the west here of Cedar Rapids. Here's the bigger storm that we're watching now right along I-80. Anybody with travel plans for tonight? If you're going to be heading west, you need to start to switch those plans just a bit right now, because especially if you're going to be traveling on I-80. Looks like we've got a big storm that's moving through that area, at least at the moment. And then eventually, as it slides down to the southeast, that threat for I-80 should eventually decrease. But it's a big storm that's out here right between Newton and Grinnell, and also kind of heading down toward portions of western Poweshiek County. And that's where we'll be watching again for a tornado warning. Jen, any reports of any damage out of that latest storm that we're watching down to the south?
Nothing as of right now, no reports, but everything is just saying that they have confirmation of that tornado on the ground. They're saying the last report was it looked rope-like, which indication that it would be maybe starting to weaken. We call it a rope-like tornado when it's kind of getting to the end of its cycle. So that's the report we've heard. Can't confirm that since we don't have pictures of that. But that was the latest report. It was northeast of the Newton area, which we did see a lot of rotation on this one as well. The rotation I looked at in Benton County has weakened, but you can really see just north of the Kellogg area there, a lot of rotation. Winds away from the radar are in the red, winds towards the radar in the green, so you get that right next to each other, and that's that tight circulation counterclockwise. If this holds together, I'd say it'd probably push between Kellogg and Grinnell, but then down to the south would be Montezuma would be close to that. So that would be the next one in line for this. This will eventually get into our viewing area, so just kind of getting our viewers heads up of what's coming. You can see some of our counties: North English, Sigourney, Keota, Williamsburg. Just in case you do have family out to the south and east, south and west of Des Moines, there is another tornado warning with tornadoes on the ground with that one as well. So kind of 3 cells here, all in a line along that cold front that is now pushing through the area that continues to bring us the severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings. Haven't heard of any more reports from this Tama and Benton County one. Tama County has been allowed to expire, so this warning back here has been expired, but Benton County is still allowed to go here for another 6 minutes across the area. Haven't heard any reports of tornadoes on the ground. When we do put the scope on there, not seeing really any rotation at all. I guess the only thing I could see maybe is this little speck in here, but really nothing of the greens or anything like we're seeing. So that is good news. That is now between Garrison and Dysart, but we are continuing to watch that carefully, and we will get into our regular news program here in about 5 minutes when this does expire. So news, get ready, but we will continue to watch this very carefully, and still that tornado warning down in Poweshiek and Mahaska and Jasper County until 9:45 as well.
Yeah, we'll certainly keep a close watch on that southern storm. If it does move into Iowa County or Keokuk County, if we get any tornado warnings there, we will break into our normal news coverage that we'll be bringing you here for the Fox 28 News at 9, and we will continue to cover that storm in its entirety. Again, if we get tornado warnings that are for either Iowa or Keokuk counties, although it's more likely that we would see, at least if it does continue to move to the southeast, possibly Keokuk County may be more in line, or at least the southwestern portion of Iowa County may be in line again if that storm system is able to hold its strength. Right now, Poweshiek County, out in the Grinnell area, you do have a tornado warning that's in effect until 9:45, or 9:15 rather, sorry. 9:15 is the expiration time on that. So we'll continue to watch that closely. But our hope here is that once we get to 9:15, that we're going to go back over to our news side and bring you the latest updates of the day while we kind of refresh all the weather situation here and continue to watch this line of storms as it pushes through. Interestingly, there are some areas of our viewing area, like Cedar Rapids so far, Iowa City as well, that really haven't seen anything as this line of storms is going through. And even as we're watching Cedar Rapids right now, as Jen's moving the radar around, got a couple little cells up here right around Walker. Also some rain that's going through Central City right now, but nothing that's severe. And then just as you're heading up towards Center Point as well, likely also dealing with some rain along I-380. But these are not severe storms and likely not going to become severe either, at least not with what we're looking at right now. All the intensification has been happening on the southern edge of this line of storms. So here's the first tornado warning that we have. That's for Benton County, and then it slides all the way down to the south around Grinnell. And then there's another one that's all the way down toward the Indianola area south of Des Moines that also has a tornado warning on it. But of course, that's well out of our viewing area. But it's these two that we're continuing to watch, at least for the next 3 minutes. Here's that third one that I was talking about. So these storms are all feeding on the moisture-rich air that we have outside. Those dew points were way high this afternoon, up to the low to mid 70s with the dew points. That indicates a lot of moisture that's available for storms. And then there's a cold front that's moving through. You can kind of pick out that front. It's right where all the storms are developing. And it's that cooler air that's coming in from the north, clashing with that warm, humid air down to the south. And then, of course, you get, boom, thunderstorms just firing up all along that line. So that's what we're watching for this evening. And that threat still going for another 2 minutes here. So we're going to stay with weather coverage until 9:15 and then head over to the news side. Let me back out for just a second. I'll let Jen go ahead and finish us out here. Go ahead and, again, give us the quick labels on the warnings, and then maybe pop up a couple of the pictures that we've seen previously of that tornado that we were tracking through portions of Tama and Grundy counties.
Yep, we still have the Benton County tornado warning until 9:15. 2 more minutes on this, and then we will get to our regularly scheduled programmings on the air. The good news is we haven't had any other reports of tornadoes. It would be on the back side of this, which is if we zoom in outside of Dysart and just to the south and west of Garrison. Haven't had any more reports of rotation with that, but this has produced several tornadoes which have touched down and destroyed or damaged some homesteads and farmsteads across the country, but not actually hitting any towns. Down the south, we still have the severe or tornado warning for Poweshiek County, Jasper County until 9:15. That is just on the fringe of our viewing area with that one as well. Some of the tornado pictures we have, this was outside of Traer, looking north outside of town. So good news is Traer, the actual town, did not get hit, but you can see people out there watching the tornado push on the north side of town. We'll get another picture here. This is Dan Gottschalk, which we did talk to here earlier. This was outside of Traer, a large tornado, as you can see there, and it is picking up some debris or anything damaged stuff on the ground there where the funnel actually meets the ground. That would be the debris cloud, as you can see stuff being picked up, which is something we don't like to see in this situation. This one is also by Caleb Hamner. This is the Rhinebeck Elementary School in the foreground here, and you're looking off towards that tornado. So outside of the town of Rhinebeck as well, which is good news, no damage there. But outside of town, we had northwest side of the Rhinebeck farmstead did sustain some damage with that one. This is also northwest of town of Traer by Caleb. You can see the tornado in the distance there as well on the horizon. So those are the tornadoes we have been tracking all night. We are continuing to see that they are going to expire the tornado warning down to our south and Poweshiek County. Of course, we are going to track that very closely. Up here to the north, they have also let the tornado warning for Benton County expire. A few little cells here pushing to Cedar Rapids, Center Point, Anamosa, Monticello, but nothing severe as of right now along the entire line. Belle Plaine, Marengo seeing some, Brooklyn, south of Tama there, Grinnell, Poweshiek County, Montezuma, and then back towards Colfax. So as of right now, no warnings in the area. We are going to go back to our regular Fox 28 News at 9 and our regular programming on CBS. If there are any other watches or warnings or anything to tell you about, we will break back in with weather. But in the meantime, for Chief Meteorologist Corey Christiansen and myself, Jennifer Hildreth, we're going to get you back to the regular programming, which if you stay tuned right here on Fox 28 will be our regular nightly news.
Johnny was quick as a rabbit. That's what he was known.